Welcome to Articulate Design. My name is Matt, and if I'm right in thinking you've had your appointment booked for almost 6 months, I'm assuming this is quite a patient wait and something you've been extraordinarily excited for. It's your first tattoo? Okay, well, either way, let me take you through what a consultation with Articulate Design actually looks like. We'll take you through some of our most common and maybe some of our rarer designs. Have a discussion about who you are as a person and what kind of tattoo you're looking for, to discuss the meaning behind the tattoo. So there's one thing I've learned, and everyone always asks, do I have any tattoos? I only have one, and it's actually a design that at least looks like it wraps around my spine. So it's quite a private tattoo. It's not something that everybody gets to see. But my choice was a long time in coming. I think a tattoo can be rushed into, which is fine. Having a joke tattoo that you got when you were a little bit inebriated is okay. But for me, one of the most common deterrents I hear against getting a tattoo is it's a bit like picking out one item of clothing to wear for the rest of your life. And I like to proceed with the idea that that's true. So we want to make sure that it is a kick-ass piece of clothing. Okay? I prefer for a tattoo to be a symbol or a reminder of something that's happened, rather than getting a tattoo for the here and now. Because you're living in the here and now, right? Getting a tattoo of a girlfriend, boyfriend, partner, it's fine. And if that's what you want to do, I'm not here to talk you out of it. But I do have a responsibility as the guy that's going to be tattooing you for the rest of your life. I think that a tattoo for me, and a tattoo is different from everyone, but for me it's a reminder. Or a goal, perhaps. Try not to get the here and now tattooed into you, because you're living that. You don't need a reminder of something you have every day. But I'm not judging. If that's what you want, that's what you can have. Just think of it as a bit of friendly advice. Now, what kind of tattoo did you have in mind? Okay. How about we take a flick through our design portfolio, and if you see something that catches the eye or that you maybe can associate meaning with, then we can explore it further, and when you're ready we can go ahead and get the tattoo done today, actually. Sure. Well, in the essence of saving time, I can talk you through the actual process of illustrating the tattoo as we flick through the binders, okay? So, if you don't have anything particular in mind, I always like to start off with geometry. Geometrical drawings are, for me, some of the most intricate kinds of tattoo you're likely to find. Let me take one of these pages out and we can have a proper discussion. About what a geometrical tattoo would mean for you. Okay. So, geometry. You'll notice the cat with a 3-tier diamond crystal background. Now, these tattoos don't necessarily have to have meaning. The artist originally had a vision of something that they wanted to see brought to life in the form of a tattoo. The cat, it's the 3-eyed cat. The third eye, of course, representing seeing the unseen, seeing what the eye can't see. Again, it's a very intricate design. It is actually supported by 2 smaller images, identical images. Now, depending on your tattoo artist, me in this case, they can really struggle to replicate this. Without arrogance, this is something I can do without issue, and what you see on the page, you'll see total transference to skin. I'm sure we've all seen the horrible montages of failed tattoos. Not here. This tag, synonymous with power, being the king of the woodland. Largely solitary creatures, powerful and noble. Beautiful design, and silhouetted in front of the crescent moon. Now, of course, these are available in color, but I find that with geometry, the color can confuse what is otherwise an already complex message. Very stylized lines. Quite a beautiful design. Now here, this is maybe more classical geometry. Just a little bit closer to you. Again, perhaps more vintage geometry. The checked tiles illuminating and bringing this panda to life in perhaps a way you've never seen before. One of my favorite designs, the panda. Pandas, again, are synonymous with being quite jolly and almost the clown of the animal kingdom, but panda depicted here is solemn. Again, an air of not severe, but focus, perhaps. Maybe that's something you want to represent. Now, we won't talk you through each one of these pictures, but if there's anything that you'd like me to elaborate on, I know the backstory behind each of our drawings, and I didn't draw these, or any of our illustrations actually, but I have tattooed every single one of them. Okay? This one. This is the inverse triangle. And for me, if you were sporting a tattoo like this, it's always a particular talking point if you're at a party or a meal, or because it's different. And a lot of people get tattoos because they want it to seem different. They want their skin to look different, and there isn't really much more stylized again than the triangle and the inverse triangle. It's a beautiful concept and quite striking against the skin. Sure, let's move on. We have quite a few categories to go through. I can show you another page of some geometry. This is more, first page obviously was more animal based. Second offering is much more dream orientated. Again, very, very bold. This dream theme dominates these tattoos. The planets, intersection, the idea of a cosmos binding us all together. Very chi, very Reiki. The idea that under the sun there's just one person. This cascading, it's actually a rocket ship. You can make it out. And this cascading, what would be a smoke trail leading down into mountains and ultimately into the river. Again, mounted on these inverse triangles. They're very busy tattoos, but beautiful in their own way. My personal favorite. This is almost the birth of planets. The amalgamation, the breakout, and the establishing of atmosphere almost. Beautiful. Again, very intricate, but stunning. Sure, let's move on. A tattoo of this kind of complexity could take between 2 to 3 hours. If you wanted something quite simple, it can be tattooed in 30 minutes. Okay. So we had to look at geometry. Something a little bit more established. These are Japanese symbols and were very common. Still are common, but I would tend to caution against picking Japanese symbols unless it's something that you're really connected to, because having a symbol of a different language, tattooed onto your body is absolutely fine, but is there a connection between you and the tattoo? Maybe there doesn't have to be. If there's one that stands out, personal favorite? I would have to say the genius. And the beauty in the genius symbol is its simplicity. It is quite literally 3 strokes and can be tattooed in 20 minutes. The sage, beautiful design as well. Rich. The rich I find an interesting design. It's almost human, but the head, shoulders, folded legs. But is rich really the message you want to be sending with your tattoo? Maybe it is, I don't know. Teacher. Talisman. I've illustrated the talisman tattoo a couple times, and it's a beautiful message because a talisman is just protection against an evil of some kind. Crown. Mother. The eternity symbol is also really quite beautiful. Here. Yeah. Okay, I'll put this to one side and we can have a look through the remaining, and if you want to proceed with the Japanese, no problem at all. Have you ever been to Japan? It's a beautiful country. I went in December 2018, and I don't know what I expected when I went to Japan, but it was the most contrasted country I've ever seen. I started off in Tokyo and had the most amazing time. I tried Wagyu for the first time in my life. It was an experience. And then I went to Kyoto. Some animals? Sure. Kyoto was everything that Tokyo isn't. Tokyo is loud, beautiful, modern, bold. Kyoto, which is the old capital of Japan, in case you didn't know, it is peaceful, serene. I stayed in a ryokan and I slid open my double doors to the most beautiful river and the temple literally just down the road from me. Quite a memorable experience. Okay. Now if you're thinking animal, we have a few animals, but a few different designs of animals here. Of course you have tiger, lion, wolf howling. This buffalo, tiger. The dragon design is interesting. Obviously this can be scaled if you wanted a larger version of it. I tattooed this dragon onto a girl a couple of weeks ago, and she had it just in the small of her spine, actually, the small of her back. And it looked, when she asked for the location, I thought it was a little bit unusual. But there's a natural shadow in the small of the back, and this dragon just sat there almost menacingly a beautiful choice, and turned it really well. The whale. It's an interesting style. Pixelated whales. Kind of breaking through the surface of the sea. Sure. We have animals. I think are maybe one of the most common kinds of tattoo we do. And it's one thing to get an animal, but some people want, again, almost abstract. That's why we had these designs commissioned. They're a little bit smaller, but you can see the phoenix. The phoenix is probably the most common design from this sheet. The giraffe is actually surprisingly common. Very, very cute. The dolphin. Again, these almost abstract dolphins are very common. They're different from when someone asks for a dolphin tattoo. That's what they get, but the pattern on the dolphin itself, it's interesting. Again, it's eye-catching and it's conversation starter, which are all great qualities for a tattoo. Sure. The little hedgehog. The hedgehog's very, very cute. I have never tattooed this hedgehog on anyone in the studio. It was in our LA studio, but very, very cute. Tattoo. Well, it's actually, I think I mentioned, it was wrapped around my spine. It's actually a double helix, as in the DNA strand that you might have seen wrapped around my spine. Your spine contains such in your spinal fluid. It seemed eloquent in some way. And we share a scarily large amount of DNA code with all sorts of animals on Earth, and it's good to be reminded that we aren't special. We are just another animal on Earth. We have our place here, and I don't know. It's keeps me grounded. If that makes any sense. Okay, what's next? Okay, the last offering. Again, these are very, very common. Are tribal designs. Now, these tribal designs are common for a reason. And some people kind of turn up their nose at the idea of something being common. Being a human being is common. There are billions of us. You don't have to strive to be, you don't have to go out of your way to be different. Every one of us is different. Our fingerprint alone proves that. If you like the tattoo, So if you can form a connection with the tattoo, it doesn't matter if it's a tribal symbol, a Japanese symbol, bowl of cereal. I've done that before. As long as it has meaning to you and you like it. Now, this is our most common tattoo in almost all of our studios. Here in Dubai, this is our most common. And it's actually a dragon unfurling. It's a beautiful design, and most tribal tattoos feature constant, thick, bold black lines interlaced with shaded elements, lightly shaded. For example, you have two-tone. Here on the dragon, it's just constant, thick, black line. Again, it emanates this power, radiates power. It's an interesting tattoo. Common for good reason. We have a couple more here. These are smaller, simpler perhaps, but interesting nonetheless. Our most common on the page. Usually, I had a guy have two of these tattooed on each of his shoulders. It looked very, very cool. This one almost has its own eye. You can almost make out a bird. It wasn't designed with a bird in mind, but sometimes tribal designs, our artist just either subliminally or deliberately incorporates animals or places even into his tattoos. Very cool. Okay, last page. Now these have almost an ocean feel, as if they've somehow been inspired by the oceans or the seas. They almost have a squid-like quality. I had a non-binary, gender-neutral individual. They've always loved the ocean, loved the sea, loved snorkeling and diving, and they saw a squid in this image, and they had it tattooed onto the chest. It turned out really well, and they loved it. But yeah, this feels it's just taken straight from the ocean. I've never met the artist that offered these designs, so I haven't been able to verify if my instincts were correct or not. Maybe they'd be deeply offended that we think one of their styles looks like an octopus, without trying to be an octopus. Okay. What did you think? Okay, sure. The Japanese symbol is always a strong choice. They always stand up from the skin really well, regardless of your complexion, your skin tone. It makes no difference. they're always a really solid pick. Okay, sure. It's a good choice. I hope I didn't influence you too much, but the genius stroke is, it's a beautiful design. It's a beautiful symbol, and you're not calling yourself a genius, but maybe you're aspiring to be. I don't know. Okay. Now, we use a Dragonhawk tattoo gun, and it's something we've been using and something I'm very familiar with. It's all I've ever used. I feel comfortable with it. I'll give you a little look at. It's actually very, very small. People see a tattoo gun and they expect it to be so much larger. It's a simple module, powered, and will fit a needle. Of course, our needles are sterilized and, of course, one-time use only. But before we actually start applying and designing and illustrating the tattoo, we want to prepare the skin. And all we'll be doing is just taking over an alcohol wipe, shaving the area so it's completely hair-free, cleansing it again, letting it dry, and then we'll start stenciling the tattoo. Now, because it is a fairly simplistic design, it won't take me more than 15 minutes to complete, actually. Upon completion, what we want you to do is not touch, okay? Rule 1 is do not touch your tattoo. It might scab a little bit, it might feel like it's peeling off. Don't touch it. Let it heal naturally. We'll apply a healing gel. I'll prescribe a cream for you. And we'll also wrap your arm in cellophane to keep you away from the tattoo and keep the fabrics of your clothes away from the tattoo as well. Okay? Because I said it's a fairly simplistic design, and it's going to look really, really, really impressive, enticing, and again, it's a talking point. The genius symbol it's a beautiful stroke to etch out, and equally beautiful to tattoo. Okay? Okay, so let me just pop on my gloves, and we'll be shaving the skin with a Charles Winters blade, one of the finest close shave blades. Everything we use here is of the utmost premium. Okay, now let me just apply a little ointment to the skin. Okay, we're just applying this to the shoulder. And this is just going to allow the razor blade to work cleanly. And you don't want to be tattooing onto irritated skin. Good. Now these are one-time use blades. Especially for you. Now let me just again, it's important anything to irritate the skin or to inhibit the tattoo in any way at all. Okay? Good. Now again, we'll apply an alcohol solution, ensuring the surface is completely sterile and prepped appropriately for your tattoo. Okay, now I'll be popping out one of these needles. And these needles are actually very, very small. And all we're doing is preloading. And I have a little foot pedal here. Like so. Now we'll be using Infinity Black as our color. So again, the highest quality ink you will find. The Infinity, or sometimes called the Immortal Black. It's a deep, rich, again emboldening black. So we're going to go ahead and load up our needle. Now, the pen can be a little bit loud. After as many years as I've been tattooing, I can almost promise you, you will feel no pain. You will feel little pricks. Okay? I'm just going to be etching this beautiful symbol, and some people find it quite relaxing. So the needle can be a little bit loud, but it's not painfully so. Okay? Alright. I want you to relax. And I'll be working just across the shoulder. Relax. Good. How's that? Good. It's never as bad as people think. The only time you'll ever see people experiencing something worse than they anticipated is when they get particularly sensitive parts of the body. And when I mean sensitive, I mean when there are a lot of nerve endings present, just under the skin. Getting it under near the armpit can be particularly painful. The neck can be hit or miss. For some people it's painless, some people it's excruciating. But your shoulder, because there's a lot of bone here, you're actually, as you can see, you're in any pain, so I'm glad. I have a little foot pedal here that clicks this on. Just need to restock on my ink. How are you doing? Very good. Proud of you. Ready? Okay. Just reloading. Of course, if you need some water or drink, coffee, tea, just let me know, okay? It can be a little bit boring sometimes, lying, having tattoo illustrated onto you, but feel free to close your eyes and just drift off to sleep. I'll be done in next to no time. Here we go. You're doing very, very well. A little bit more to go. Very good. Doing excellently well. Just mopping up the excess ink. Good. Now your skin is actually taking the tattoo very well. It's not showing irritation. There's no blood. That sounds a bit gruesome, but some people can bleed a little bit when they're being tattooed. Your skin is reacting exceptionally well. Just get this finished off. Okay. That is excellent, if I do say so myself. So it's taken to the skin very, very well. The ink again looks deep, that jet black color. Good. So it only takes a couple minutes. It's a fairly simple design. Now, so we're going to wrap it in cling film. So don't touch it, don't scratch it. If it's scratching, it means it's healing, because in the day it's a tattoo, and it will heal very, very quickly. Let me just apply a cream. It's to the outside Good. Wonderful. Now let me just add a little bit of cellophane here. Now this will just be wrapped around the tattoo, the shoulder. It's cold, I'm sorry. I don't have heated cellophane. Something I might want to look into. Not eating it too much because obviously it would melt. But good. That's beautiful coverage. Again, try not to pick at that too much. But if it does come off, just kitchen cellophane. There's nothing special. And I said I'll write you a prescription for a topical cream to apply to it twice a day. Okay? Sure, this is obvious, but make sure you wash your hands before applying. And of course, wash your hands after. Keep it clean. Don't pick it. And it will heal before you know it. Alright? It's my absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming along to Articulate Design. It's been my absolute pleasure. And should you ever be in the market for a tattoo in the future, please come and see us again, okay? It's been my pleasure to have you with us today. It really has. Thank you.